Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. It's great to be with you on a Monday. Thank you kindly for joining us today. I hope the weekend treated you well. We have a fabulous program lined up for you. Emily Morrison, our guest. She is the director of the Front Porch, making a huge impact in the Charlottesville, Central Virginia, and Commonwealth-wide community. We already have folks giving you props like Nick Duke Sr., who says Emily is the greatest. Give the show a like and a share on any channel that you're watching. We certainly appreciate that. We have a number of folks that work really hard to put this program on. And the only thing we ask in return is a like and a share from you guys. Let's thank some of the people that make the show possible before we go to Emily. We'll give some love and some props and some feedback in the spotlight to Intrastate Pest and Service Companies. We are their proud advertising agency of record. I'm going to give you 15 seconds about this business that is certainly making Charlottesville a better place. This company started in 1969 with the first generation. It's now a 4-generation strong company. Mr. Wells had himself the willingness to work hard and a truck. He, in 1969, launched this business by going to his first client, servicing them successfully, and then would head to a payphone in 1969 where he would call his second customer and say, "May I come to your home now?" Today, they are 4 generations strong, almost 100 employees. The headquarters right around the corner from Bodo's Bagels on Harris, an office in Richmond, an office in the Shenandoah Valley, and almost 100 employees. I mean, I love stuff like that, positive entrepreneurial journeys and businesses that are making the community better. I think Dr. Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, we're also his ad agency of record. He's making Charlottesville better. Chiropractic care, physical therapy, sports medicine, changing people's lives. I love stories about companies that are able to make the community better than when they first arrived. And that's what we're trying to do here with I Love CVille. We just celebrated our 11-year anniversary on May 31st. Launched it in 2008 at probably the worst time you could launch a business. And we are undoubtedly, trying to give the guys and the team here, raises and improve their quality of life. One of our team members is buying a house this week, but we're doing it in a way where we're making the community, we think, better. We've raised over $117,000 for nonprofits and charities in 11 years, and we're truly grateful for your support and your kindness and your positive and heady vibes around the Charlottesville community. I have the easy job, guys. I just have to be here and sit in front of this microphone and be myself 8 or 9 hours a week. Harris and Judah, the team upstairs, have the hard job of keeping us on track. I think we should go to the studio cam, and I think we should welcome, from what I can tell, someone who needs no introduction, Emily Morrison to the show. Emily, how are you?
Great. How are you? I'm
doing so well. Deborah McLeod says hello. Emily Morrison, you look fantastic.
Thanks, Deborah.
Give it a like and a share. John Gilmer says hello. A number of folks that are currently watching right now. We start with kind of the same question with every show, and it's like the flip book or the birth story of the person before we get to what they do from a day job. So who is Emily, the person, passions, hobbies, interests, what she loves about the community?
Great. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Love your energy.
Thank you.
This is a great scene. Everybody should come on the show.
Thank you. Nice.
I'm Emily. I grew up in Southwest Virginia in Franklin County, a little town called Ferrum. There's a college there. You may have heard of Ferrum College.
Ferrum.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And grew up on a farm in a musical family. My parents were educators and musicians, so I grew up playing music at home. I have 2 brothers. They both live here in Charlottesville. They're both phenomenal musicians, and grew up just surrounded by mountains and music. And went to William & Mary, became a teacher.
Nice.
Stayed there for grad school, moved to Charlottesville for a teaching job at Western Albemarle High School. I started teaching there in the year 2000, so I've been here ever since. This definitely feels like home. At this point, this year, I've lived in Charlottesville longer than I lived anywhere else in my life. So I definitely have deep, thick roots in this community.
William & Mary, I grew up in Williamsburg.
Nice.
My first cold beer was when I was 16 years old.
At the Greenleaf.
At the Greenleaf Cafe. How did you know that?
I worked at the Greenleaf.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I worked at the Greenleaf for 4 years.
Really? While you were in college?
And I tell people I learned more working at the Greenleaf in terms of how to be in the customer service business. Really, I probably learned more about teaching even. I mean, waiting tables at the Greenleaf, That's called some serious life experience.
I was going to say, and don't you feel like everybody should work in some capacity in food services?
In service industry, in some kind of service industry. I tell my kids that all the time.
Because you don't really learn life until you have to deal with like an 8-top that's hangry.
Oh, for sure. And then you're dealing with you're dealing with the kitchen. You're working with the owner of the business. You're trying to serve your customers. You have your colleagues who you're also trying to support. It's big.
How about William & Mary, the time in Williamsburg?
That was awesome.
Did you?
Yeah.
You loved it?
I loved it.
Tell me why.
I did. Well, I was from a really small little town, and I spent a lot of my time when I was a kid. Franklin County is really rural, and I guess when I got to William & Mary, I felt like I was surrounded by people who... At the very beginning, when I first got there, I feel like I'm throwing shade on Franklin County, and I freaking love some Franklin County. And my long-term, amazing friends of life are from Franklin County, so I don't want it to sound like that at all. But when I got there, I felt like, oh, there are all these people surrounding me who want to talk about philosophy.
Open-minded?
And they were to a point. Some. I don't know if that is the word I would use.
Okay.
I think it was more like intensely curious.
Okay.
Not that people from Franklin County aren't. So, but that was like a new thing for me, and I felt like all of a sudden, like my eyes were just opening all the time. It was very good, and I had great teachers. I had a really, really positive experience there, and I stayed for grad school, which was also awesome, and then came here.
David Cathcart says hello.
Hey,
guys.
David.
Give the show a like and a share. We'll give some props to Linda Good, Deborah Arnstein. They're watching right now.
They're my
Chris
friends.
Turner's giving you props right now.
Aww.
Ray Cadell. Ava's watching. Stephanie Wells Rhodes. James Watson. Billy Kernick from Vivi's Cakes and Candy. Andre Xavier from CVille Hop on Tours. You're smarty pants. It's not easy to get into William & Mary. A lot of people don't know this. I went to UVA. Okay?
Oh, cool.
Grew up in Williamsburg. Considered William & Mary. It was a little close to home for me.
Of course.
The standards to get into William & Mary more more difficult than UVA. You're a smart gal over there.
I got good grades in high school.
Okay.
I don't know about smart, but I could play the game of school pretty well.
I love it. I love it. So, teacher. Talk to us about why teacher.
Well, part of it, I think, was because I grew up and my parents were teachers, and you sort of do what you know at first. But I consider myself a capital T teacher. Like that's never really left me. I like an educator. I'm interested in education systems. I'm interested in policy, and I love working with children. So I was a high school English teacher at first, but I've taught a bunch of stuff. I was the journalism teacher. I have taught writing. I've taught reading. I have taught drama. I've taught music. I've even been a dance teacher. So there's a lot of things that have to do with the humanities have been in my
I feel
wheelhouse.
like you, and Jim Bingler says, Emily, you rock. Keep up the great work.
Oh, Jim gave a concert at the Front Porch on Saturday night. Big props to you, and sorry I couldn't be there.
Corey Greer says hello.
Oh, he went to my elementary school. Wee.
Jess
Hi, Corey.
Nicely says hello.
She's
Bill
my
Granford,
colleague.
Jonathan Gasalo. Thank you for watching the show. Colleen Tyler says what up. This is what I'd like to throw to you. I can already tell, and you came in with this positive energy. I feel like people are drawn to you. Mm-hmm. I feel like you have undoubtedly the gift of human connection, and you're able to connect with folks. You're able to communicate. Mm-hmm. I've already been told off air by your fabulous staff that is watching behind the scenes right now. Your
and some of them are
team
at the Front Porch. Hi, Jess.
that you are inspiring. Put this in perspective for all of us. I mean, it's certainly extremely important qualities if you want to lead in any capacity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit of a challenging question for me because I'm so much more interested in talking about the work and the people, the community, than I am in talking about myself in that regard. I guess I feel...
You're being humble right now.
Well, I feel loath for the Front Porch, which has so many people who are involved in it, and those who say that are Front Porch people. I feel loath for it to be. I don't want it to be like the Emily Show. It is so much a reflection of this community, and part of the reason that we've had fast and intense success as an organization is because this community has really embraced us in a lot of wonderful ways. And so I feel like I need to give the props back out to my amazing, amazing staff and the people who are on our board and the teaching staff, et cetera. There's just a lot of really great energy surrounding the whole thing.
I love that.
I don't take credit for that.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, we see that.
I give the credit. I do.
I like that about you. Why don't we turn that into the first sizzle reel? Let's start from my first question at the top of the show to her all the way through that. Answer, please, Harris. James Watson, thank you for joining us on the show.
Hi, James.
You're getting props from Glenn
Love
Morrison.
you. Oh, Glenn Morrison, yes. Hi, Glenn. How are you?
Looking good, Emily. Keep up the good work.
Aw, thanks.
All right, we're going to create a second sizzle reel here. And James, thank you for sharing the show.
James.
The Front Porch.
Love you.
James Watson's the man.
Oh, he is the man.
Right?
Yes, he is the best.
He is the best.
He really is.
I've known him since his time when he was tending bar at Orbit when I was a student at UVA.
Cool.
And we've stayed in close contact since. James
Cool.
Watson, you are revered here at I Love CVille. And
Same.
obviously the
Same.
Front Porch.
Same. Yes.
All right, so the second sizzle reel starts now, Harris. The Front Porch, the who, what, when, where, and why.
Okay, so in 2015, I started the Front Porch as a little side hustle at my house, which James Watson was my next door neighbor, BTW, and in Belmont.
Yeah.
And it was just a little experiment to see if people would be interested in taking roots music lessons and classes and jams. And I ran a little children's choir, and we had house concerts, and we just tried to create a little community. And I have teenage daughters, and I told them at the time, they were like, I don't know how old, like 10 and 12 or something, like, oh, we'll just do this for like 6 weeks, and it'll just be fun. We'll have people around playing music all the time. And 6 months later, that was still happening, and it was growing, and people had developed relationships with their teachers that they didn't want to let go of, and it became clear that A, this had legs, and B, we needed a new home. So we were the beneficiaries of an amazing building, thanks to the school, Mountaintop Montessori. They rented us a building on their campus on Pantops for 1 year and helped us get our feet sort of planted on the ground. And then we were lucky enough to find our building, which is located now on Water Street in downtown Charlottesville.
Great spot.
And it's a great spot. And we've been sort of expanding ever since. And we started out with one big room and a few little teaching studios and we had concerts and lessons and jams. And since then we've taken over the upstairs and renovated the entire building. We recently took over a little courtyard behind our building where we're going to have happy hours this summer.
Nice.
Check our website out for that.
I like happy hour.
And a little studio apartment. And we're still just growing our programs and creating what we hope to be a vibrant community where people feel a deep sense of belonging all through the power of music.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
The evolution. I mean, did you ever think it would get to this point when you were starting this out of your home?
I didn't. It's funny. When I started it, I had a very clear vision, but I didn't have expectations per se. And so part of what allowed us to succeed was that we ran it as an experiment for the first 2 years.
What do you mean by that?
I still had a full-time job,
Okay.
and so we didn't start out with any kind of funding. It was just it was lean and scrappy, and I think we did it. I think we were smart about how we built it, and there was a lot of love and sweat equity built into it. We had one employee, Jess Nicely, who is still, to this day, our operations director. She's been with me doing this as a partner from day one.
That's awesome.
She's amazing. And then since then, we've grown our team to include Emily Kresge, who's here in the background, and
Love
Keaton Reynolds,
Emily Kresge.
who's here in the background, as well as Malia Furtado, who's our Director of Music Education,
Nice.
and Matt Carreri, who is our Roots and Wings Program Director, which I'll talk about later. So anyway, we're really expanding our family, and now we have 34 teaching artists who teach for us, many of whom have been with us since day one. We reach over 10,000 people in 2018 through all of our programs. We employed 415 artists, musicians last year, either in concerts or as teachers. And we have 500 families that come downtown to be part of our community and also the greater downtown Charlottesville community every week. So I do feel like the impact of this, of the power of music and the way that it brings people together also pays dividends just in terms of what we're both trying to do in Charlottesville, which is lift the community up in positive ways.
Oh, I love that answer right there. That answer was so good. Was that not so good? That's the end of the second sizzle reel right there. That was inspiring me. Like, I literally have like goosebumps right now. You're getting some props from someone you went to elementary school with. No, from high school. Okay, Erica Whitney Draper. Whitney
yes,
Draper. She says, Emily, you're amazing, a phenomenal leader. This is Whitney from high school. Go Eagles.
Go Eagles, FC, baby.
Sally Hudson, teaming up with Emily is a blast and a half. She's a force of nature, and anybody who has the good luck to wander into her orbit knows it.
Oh, well, it takes one to know one, sister.
Yeah, Sally Hudson's a rock star.
She
I mean,
is.
how does this make you feel right here? And I got another one that just came in. Emily lifts us all up. That's from Nick Sr., Nick Duke Sr.
Nick Duke Sr. needs to be on this show, actually.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Hey, if you want someone on the show, you're coming on the damn show, okay?
He's so great. Thank you, Nick.
How does this make you feel? Put this in perspective.
It makes me feel really good. It's just so much, there's just so much love surrounding, I have tons of support, but also the community has really good energy.
I feel like,
Thank you
you've
guys.
touched on this already, like a lot of what your mission is and our mission is like very synergistic.
Yeah.
And like they're in like, to use a phrase that Sally just said, in like kind of like the same orbit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're both committed to trying to like leaving our footprint in the community a little better off than when we first arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe throw that to you here. Yours is a nonprofit.
It is.
Ours is a for-profit with a conscious capitalist mindset, social entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Put that in perspective of how like we can go about a career path, and it does not have to be mutually exclusive from leaving the community better than when we first got here.
Mm-hmm. I think that... In fact, I will say that my experience in Charlottesville is that most people that I work with are, and maybe it's because of the context of the work that I'm doing, are similarly committed and positive to this, committed to this community. I think that when you're talking about entrepreneurism, sort of broadly, that there is a stereotype, especially around sort of for-profit entrepreneurship, that it's kind of like looking out for number one, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been really amazing to me to work with a bunch of companies who have supported our organization very generously. Yours, our sponsors at the Front Porch, other very generous donors who allow us to survive. We would not survive without the generosity of the community. And that spirit, many of those people earned their money through their for-profit businesses, and then they pay it back to the community by giving to nonprofits. There are, now someone from the Center for Nonprofit Excellence can correct me, but there's like more than 1,000 nonprofits in this community. So many. Yeah, and so many of them are doing such good, and we have tons of great nonprofit partners who we work with. Eva Har of Little Planets runs a for-profit business, and we work as partners. She's amazing. I mean, I could go on and on. The list is infinite, in fact, of people who have supported us in amazing ways.
Would you characterize yourself as an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Put that in perspective.
I believe that entrepreneurship is the idea of taking a creative vision and making it real in the world.
Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm. And that is what we both do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that difficult for you?
No.
It was always something that was in your blood?
I didn't necessarily...
Did you have to learn it?
No. Teaching gave me the skill of learning how to put a system in place, and then so you sort of put a framework in place, and then you enact it. So there's that. I think also working in schools gave me the experience of community creation and cultivation, and also caretaking. And I love that. I love communities. I love teams. That is just part of my personality. I'm drawn to that.
Me too.
But also I do think that I have a skill of being able to make an idea real. And
When did you realize that for the first time? I realized that for the first time when I was 14.
I didn't. It was much later for me. Yeah, it was much later. I think I thought...
Because that's a skill.
It is a skill.
Yeah. Because
and
we're not
you
intimidated
hone
on
it.
we're not intimidated on what could go wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of people
That's
snowball
it.
like, oh my gosh, this and that can go wrong. Where we're of like the mindset, let's just throw the shit against the wall, and if
we'll
it
just see
sticks,
what
let's
happens.
go.
Right.
Is that what you do?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I don't have a fear mindset.
Me either. I love this.
And
Seriously.
But I also want to say that part of what gives me the freedom to do that is that, you see that there are all these people who are giving their support to me, and I have this like wellspring of support in the background. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean that it comes in the form of like financial backing. It's more like I just know there are a lot of nets that could catch me. And so I benefit from having I have an awesome family. I have a really supportive husband. I have great kids. My parents are great. Like, I have a neighborhood that's awesome. So many things that allow you to feel buoyed. And so that if it did all fall apart, it would be okay. And I think that is a part of what strengthens me.
I love that. I threw this to Emily when she was on the show here. I'm going to throw this to you. I ask this question a lot because I feel like with musicians or with entrepreneurs, like we're oftentimes having to be vulnerable. We're oftentimes having to go down a path that we're not sure where the path is going to lead us, which is very different than say and I'm not marginalizing anything, but very different than say like a 9 to 5, where like you get there and this is the path. Finish this path, go home. Our paths are so different. How do you manage the vulnerability or the unknown of like, will this work? I have a lot of people depending on me. These guys want raises in January. These guys are buying homes and have families. How do you manage that?
Well, I think I manage it with varying degrees of grace, honestly, on the inside. I think on the outside, I manage it pretty well. I do worry on the inside. I do feel like I have a lot of skin in the game. When it started, we were so lean that it felt like a no-risk experiment. And it was a way, it gave us the ability to really listen to the community and try things and pivot. And
evolve.
And evolve according to what we thought the needs were and where there were actual gaps. Now we have 6 people on salary. Yes, I have 34 musicians who work for us every single week. We have a growing budget, and with that, I have a lease, and with that there's all kinds of commitments, and people do depend on me, and I mostly feel confident, and sometimes I feel afraid.
Love that. Okay, are you like the swan that's on the water?
And yeah, maybe a little bit, but I also feel like I'm really honest with people about it. It's not like I'm sort of pretending. It's more that I take it really seriously. Yeah. I feel there is a level of gravitas that I feel like. Let me just say this: the thing that I am the most proud of, in addition to my amazing daughters, and probably just that, I'm really proud of my kids. I have awesome kids. And the next thing I'm the most proud of is creating a team of people and creating jobs in Charlottesville that are well paid, that people like. They're happy at work, and that whole team creation thing has been extremely gratifying and was not something I was anticipating when I started it. But I'm really proud of that.
Dude,
I take it super seriously.
I totally can relate to that.
Yeah.
I am so proud, and she's watching now, of our little family, of our son and this family that we're building, and my wife's watching. So proud of that and how far we've come. But I look at 11 years of doing this, and started in 2008 out of a condo where I was trying to close deals in a bachelor-infested condo with my dog as the closer. No clients for 7 months. Was going to the Panda Garden buffet and stealing Chinese food from the buffet. And that was in Ziploc bags.
Wow.
And that was
That's
the food
intense.
for 2 days. Dog food too.
Wow.
And now team. And buying a home and supporting families and culture. It also like, and I'm going to throw this to you, it also like creates a sense of pressure that I feel like when I wake up in the morning and I go to sleep at night, because it's always about going 2 steps forward, even if you're taking that 1 step back. I want to throw that to you.
Okay.
Because I learn from everyone that comes on the show, literally something.
Yeah, you give what you need. So you're giving what you need also.
You get it.
Which is like surrounding yourself with people who have big ideas like you, and then you can feed off of that energy, which
That's
is really good
100%
for
the
you.
case.
Yes, I get that.
So it's invigorating.
I get that.
I want to throw that to you and how you started like managing this and like how you started realizing, my gosh, these people are counting on me. When you started having this aha moment where you're like, this is clicking, this is working, this dream is a reality.
Yeah.
All that to you.
Okay, well, it's really a spectrum, and I have to say, I don't exactly know how to answer that because I don't have an analogous, I don't have a similar trajectory where I started with the level of vulnerability that you did. That has shifted in a way where I can point at it, because it's been, first of all, it's been fast. So our growth trajectory has been very quick, but also it's been very organic. And perhaps the biggest shift that we had, although I wasn't super conscious of it at the time, happened last year because we hired most of our team last year. But there wasn't like an inflection point where I can look back and say, either things got really scary and then we survived, and that may be yet to come. So just saying, it could be that, I go home and then tomorrow, if something major happens, I don't know. I can't tell the future. But to this point, we have been the beneficiaries of a remarkable amount of success and warmth. The community has embraced us. Our programs have grown. We've basically doubled the size of our programs every year since we started. So it feels more like this organic expansion rather than particular inflection points. I hope that answers your question.
That does answer my question. How about, and let's give some props to the people that are listening right now. Alex Butterfield. Alex Butterfield says, oh, this is good. Love Emily Morrison. We're so thankful to be a part of the Front Porch family.
Yes.
Whitney says, I
Same.
think M's approach as a 501c3 allows her to fit the educational niche of music, since many school systems have been cutting music education. That is a good point.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Christine Lasershack. Is that Lasershack?
Oh,
am I saying it right?
Christine Lasershack.
Lasershack. So cool to see you do your thing. Miss you.
Love you, Christine.
We get this is a great discussion. People can learn a lot from this. We are listening with a notepad right now.
Oh, good.
Give it a like, give it a share on any of the streams that you're watching. Jehu Martin, the fabulous artist Lee Alter is watching
hi,
right
Lee.
now. Bob Shada, Elliot Harding, Bellamy Brown, who's running for city council, Jacqueline Greiger, Leslie Gorday, who's come on this
Leslie.
program. I love Leslie Gorday.
Yes, I taught with Leslie at Western.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a French teacher.
And he was also a soccer coach.
Yes, indeed.
At Western.
Indeed.
He came on and he plays a mean bass, stand-up
He
bass.
does,
And
he
he
does.
has an elixir.
I have had his elixir.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We run in the same circles, I see. What is a day-to-day like for you?
Okay. I spend a lot of time talking to amazing people. I spend a lot of time meeting with my staff and the board. I spend a lot of time working on our budget, looking at spreadsheets. Day to day is really, it's very different one day to the next. I feel like Emily and Caton, who are here, could answer that question better than I could. But a lot of time spent creating the vision for the organization to be sustainable for the next 5 years. I spend a lot of time contemplating that.
What's the vision for the next 5 years?
Well, I would like for us to grow our free community. We have a big community outreach part of our program, and I see that growing over time, and I'm excited about that. So that's one big change. Another one is that I do see us having more campuses. either
Ooh.
locally or in other cities around the state of Virginia.
A scaling plan, huh?
Somewhat,
Okay,
yeah.
I love this stuff. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, we have good friends and colleagues in other cities around Virginia who have expressed interest in starting sister schools, sister front porches.
Okay.
And so we're beginning the process of cultivating that conversation.
Okay. How would it work? Like a license, almost like a franchise?
A little bit like a franchise.
Okay.
Charlottesville would be the hub.
The flagship, the beta?
And then we would have spokes in places like Harrisonburg, Lexington, maybe Richmond. I think one would do really well in Roanoke, maybe Lynchburg. So they're just little beginnings of conversations that are happening. And it's really exciting, and I think that the vision has legs. But I'm really committed to making sure that what we're doing in Charlottesville is just so solid first. And my first commitment is to this city. That's where my heart is.
Sure.
So there's a part of me that's, I'm careful about it because I don't want to look up and look away too soon.
You're basically saying you don't
ready.
want to put the cart before the horse with scaling and have you distract from your home base.
Yeah.
But, if you do this, and this is the entrepreneur in me coming out, if you do this and build this network, and you could then create this network where talented musicians could then have different venues to play across the Commonwealth.
Totally.
Then could create like a regional brand, not only for the Front Porch, but for the artists themselves.
Right.
And a very approachable path, be like, yes, we have friends here in Roanoke where you can go play in front of.
Exactly.
Is that the?
Yeah.
That would crush it. Do that. Freaking do that. Please.
Let's talk later.
No, I love this idea so very much.
It's good. I love it too. And I think that is the future for this. And it feels very Virginia to me. I'm a Virginia girl, born and bred, lived in Virginia my entire life. And so my commitment is here, but also I really am looking to make my state a better place also. And I see the impact that this has on our little town, and it would be really cool to be able to share that with others.
This was put on the stream, and Jay Pun's watching from the Renaissance
Jay.
School. What's up, Jay? Thank you for joining us. Lisa Blackman, Aaron Slow, welcome to the show. Give it a like. Grace is watching in Richmond. We have folks watching in D.C., Richmond, Southwestern Virginia, Nashville, and in North Carolina right now, guys.
Cool.
Give it a like and a share on any stream that you are watching. Let me throw this to you. How spotlight the Charlottesville community, the downtown mall community, and how they have embraced the Front Porch.
It's been amazing, really incredible. I did not anticipate moving downtown that I would also be moving to. It was basically like joining a new neighborhood and getting all these new neighbors, and who look out for us and support us. So, first of all, there's an amazing art scene downtown, and we have a lot of colleagues and friends. I want to give a special shout out to Chris Ewer, who is the executive director of the Paramount, who has been a great mentor of mine and a huge supporter.
Clay's come on the show.
Oh, awesome.
Clay rocks.
Yes. So great. We are partnering with the folks who run the pavilion. Kirby Hutto is helping us at the end of September 7th. We're doing our first fundraiser concert at the pavilion featuring Love Cannon and Mighty Joshua. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce that yet, but I just did.
Nice.
Sorry world.
Should we turn that into a sizzle reel or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Talk about it later, Harris. Talk about it later.
But anyway, I'm excited about that, and it is also a gesture of support, and they believe in us that we can pull something like that off, which is super cool. There are many businesses around the neighborhood who have supported us as sponsors, as friends, who look out for us or look out for our building. There's so many ways that it's been great.
When you jumped into a lease, what was going through your mind? I mean, because that's commitment.
It is.
That's skin in the game.
Well, it was funny. I was so what's the word? I had a lot of conviction about this being the right place, and that quality of sort of like not worrying about the problems and just being very forward.
Razor focused?
Yeah, forward focused. So when we took over the lease, the building needed a full renovation, and I just thought I could do it myself. Did
you?
Well, I thought I could, and I got my friends, and we got sledgehammers, and we just did our
the
own
demo.
Yes. And then I took a break and went to the beach with my family for our vacation. This is in 2016. And I was sitting on the beach looking at the ocean. I'm like, oh, I have a commercial renovation in downtown Charlottesville on my hands, and I have no skills and no money. This is not good. So I called, actually, David Cathcart, who's on this, who was watching earlier. I called him.
Watching.
He's a good friend of mine. And I called him up.
He's literally watching right now.
David, what do I do? And he was like, call Jack Horn. So I called Jack Horn from Martin Horn, and Martin Horn has been amazing. Those guys, I give them my heart. The Front Porch would not have happened downtown without Martin Horn and the generosity of people who helped us pay for the renovation. But that was a game changer. So Jack Horn came and walked around the building with me, and it turns out it was the first building that he helped to build when he started working at Martin Horn in 1982.
So Charlottesville.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I know this building super well. There's a bunch of cinder blocks behind this wall," and sure enough, there were. And anyway, they took it off my hands and were like, "Emily, you have no idea what you're doing," and I made it so beautiful. So for those of you who are watching who haven't been to the Front Porch, come visit us so you can see their amazing work. They're an incredible community asset.
And I think Martin Horn just celebrated their 40-year
They did
anniversary
last
in business
weekend.
at Prime 109.
Yes, they did, across the street, which
Yeah.
they also renovated at
Right.
the same time that they did ours. And Michael Castorani, I have to give him a shout out. He was the superintendent of our project, and he still looks in on us. I can call him and he'll answer the phone and come check on my toilets for me if he wants. He's like a second father to me. Just adore them.
Catherine Slaughter, hello. Emily Morrison, so
Hi.
glad to hear from you.
Yes, Kay.
You guys
Yes,
look
hi.
great.
Great.
Let me throw this to you here. Like and share the stream, guys, anywhere you're watching. Whitney put this on the stream. She says, M's approach as a 501c3 allows her to fit the educational niche of music, since so many school systems have been cutting back on music education. Throw that to you.
Great. So we are a music school, and we take that part of our organization really seriously. This year, we've taken on the important work of creating core curricula for all of our what we call our core instruments, and several of our teaching artists are working really hard on creating curricula so that when you come to the Front Porch, there's a quality control that we put in place, and that what's being taught is necessarily doesn't live or die based on who's teaching there, but because we have these teaching tenets that we believe in, and a big part of that is based in a belief in the relationship between the teacher and the student, and that the quality of that relationship and how well they listen and then help people find their potential is a huge part of what we do. I will say that we teach students who are from the age of baby to the age of senior citizen, and we have about half kids and half adults, and we teach in many styles of music, which is something we can also talk about later. But so it's a eclectic and diverse offering, and the thing that's the most important to me is that an individual who comes to us, no matter what age they are or what experience level they bring, feel met, feel that their needs are met, and they feel seen by our teachers. Many people come and they're really nervous. They're scared to try a new skill. Playing music is a vulnerable act. Many adults come to us with the belief that they aren't good, and they're seeking to better themselves by confronting what has been a deep belief for them. So there's a lot of big work that happens in the classrooms around developing potential. We also do that work outside of the four walls of our building in downtown Charlottesville. We go into schools, we go into community centers, we go into neighborhoods, and work with children whose families may not be able to afford to send them for lessons at the Front Porch. We work, when we're in schools, we work hand in hand with teaching staff so that we're working as assets to their program, providing mentors and support for students who may not have private lessons in band programs, providing really fun, sort of joy-focused music classes for young children, full of singing and songwriting and creativity, so that we can encourage young people to feel like they could choose music for the rest of their lives. I want to say one thing about the funding piece. Should I stop talking right now?
No, keep going. No rules.
Charlottesville City Schools in particular, so we work in Charlottesville City as well as Albemarle County Schools, and we have partners in a lot of different facets. In Charlottesville City, we primarily work with PTOs who help us navigate which kids could use our support services the most. Charlottesville City Schools is really well funded in the arts, and we have by the time you get to the high school, there's incredible elite programs that you can participate in. And I have 2 daughters who are in the city schools, and they've both been the great beneficiaries. We also are a community that has a pretty stark socioeconomic divide, and there are kids who arrive to the new music programs in the 5th grade who may not have had the kind of after-school lessons that some of their peers did. And so what we're seeking to do, as an organization that's always trying to make the community better and to fill gaps where we see them with the work that we do, we're hoping that we can help these kids who might not see themselves as good at music yet, see that as a possibility for themselves. And mostly it's through relationships. Getting professional musicians one-on-one with them and showing them the kind of support and love that they need, that we all need in order to be our best selves.
That's a fabulous sizzle reel. Please start with my question all the way through that answer. Sean Bracken says, you are the best. You are rocking this interview right now. I totally 100% agree. She totally is. You touched on this briefly, different styles of music.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
So maybe the best way to demonstrate that is just to talk about our jam program, because we have free community jams many nights of the week.
Okay.
So you can come to the Front Porch and play music or just listen to music any night. It's totally free. You just come, make some friends, listen to some music, maybe play some. Monday nights we have a bluegrass jam. We teach a lot of people at the Front Porch lessons that are leading them toward being able to play in a bluegrass jam, which is some people's dream, but not everyone's. We have a blues jam on Tuesday night, so we also have teachers who can teach you how to play blues piano or do blues singing, play blues guitar, if that's your dream and your passion. Our blues jam leader, Bill Adams, is a Piedmont blues finger-picking style guitar player, but we have all kinds of people who come to that jam. People play pedal steel. We've had saxophonists. We have, bass players. We have drummers. It's a real mix. Once a month on Thursday nights, we have a jazz jam. Again, totally open. We partner with the Charlottesville Jazz Society to do that jam. There's a house band, and then people can sit in on the house band. And again, it's a real mix. We have all ages, abilities, singers, players, all types. On every Saturday morning, we have an African drum circle.
I love that.
It is. I tell them, I feel that the people...
That's how I was first touched by your brand.
Oh, the African drum circle.
Yeah.
It's really an amazing thing. People are really drawn. It has energy that is... I feel that the people who run that jam are like the great attractors.
And it radiates through the farmer's market.
It radiates joy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really does.
It totally does. I just love them so much and give them my heart. And then we have an open mic series that's also free and open to the public that celebrates the singer-songwriter community in our town. Emily Kresge has organized that for us for a few years now.
Emily.
This year, in partnership with Chris Murphy, who's a young singer-songwriter in Charlottesville, they have done a youth songwriter focus a few months out of the year, which has been really cool. But that is a way to bring, a particular brand of creativity that I think is really flourishes in Charlottesville into our space, and especially encourages young people. So that gives you a little window. There's a lot of genres of music. I could go on, but there are lots of ways that you can tap into what we're doing that are sort of eclectic and different.
Why music in the first place? Like musical inspirations? Mm-hmm. How do we get to the point in your 37 years on Earth with music in
37.
general? That was a great laugh. I was like, Jerry, shut the hell up.
Yeah, I'm not even going there. So, music, well...
Is it a vehicle, or is music really up in the heart, or is this the vehicle to the human connection?
It is both. And in order to do this well, in order to make a community music school the best it can possibly be, you have to be really serious about the excellence of the music, both in terms of the concerts that we present as well as the quality and caliber of the teaching. And you have to be serious and organized about helping people, encourage them to practice and to give them skills that build on one another so that they can achieve their musical dreams. And everyone's dreams are different. So knowing people and really understanding how to get them where they want to be, and maybe help them achieve dreams they didn't even know they had, is something we talk about a lot. That's really different from all the soft, mushy stuff about, creating a community. Those two things, I think, are kind of the yin and the yang of a community music school. And there are lots of great community music schools all over the country. My gold standard is the Old Town School of Folk Music in Chicago, which I visited twice, and both times felt like it was a pilgrimage. They have 7,000 students who come take lessons there every week. It's the size of 2 city blocks. It is magnificent what they have accomplished there. And so I really consider the staff there and the executive director my great teachers, but there are other music schools that I take inspiration from. And it really is important for there to be a sense of community and commitment, that there's a place where people feel like, this is my place. One of the things I love about what we've done, it means so much to me, is that there are people who, come and feel like, this is a place where I feel like the most sense of belonging in Charlottesville. And they tell me, they write me emails about it.
Love that.
It is the coolest thing.
I love that.
And that, I think, is a testament to the power of music and the way that it opens our hearts to each other when we're together in the space sharing that.
I feel like what you're doing, and we have a number of questions coming in, guys. We're going to try to get to as many of these questions as possible. Emily is crushing it right now. 7 channels on the I Love CVille network. If you have questions, comments, anything you want to relay to her, just put it in any chat box you're watching in. I feel like what the Front Porch is doing is you guys are like obviously teaching a musical skill set. You are building a sense of self-awareness and empowerment with anyone who walks in the door. You're building this like sorority or fraternity or community of people that want to foster positive vibes and the best in other people. You are in a lot of ways like fostering self-confidence and like showing folks that like it's okay to be vulnerable, and if you do showcase that vulnerability, no one's gonna like give you a hard time about it or laugh at you or anything along those lines. I mean, you're like almost like music school meets like therapist meets like self-help guru meets like just like better quality of life.
Yeah.
All in one place. Throw that to you, and then I got a really good question about if you had a bottomless grant, what would you do to create any program to help the community? First,
I hope there's someone out there who wants to give me a bottomless grant.
Corn capsule. Let me throw this to you about all those intersecting in one place at the Front Porch.
Yeah, well, I think you've really nailed it. And, I think it's hard to get right at the heart of it in an hour, but I think we're starting to get there. And that piece of nurturing, I guess what I would say my philosophy around this is that it's really important to nurture the individual in order to nurture the community, so that every person who walks through the door feels warmly greeted and safe and ready to try something scary, possibly, potentially, and also like they want to keep coming back. Also, I would say that that's a similar feeling to how I want people to feel when they come to concerts at the Front Porch. That you could feel safe coming alone and feel like you would leave having met someone new who's really interesting, or having experienced a musical performance that blew your mind, and you feel really connected to those artists. So that intersection for me is about lifting the one lifts the many, and I think that's the way that you can actually grow a community and then also make the greater community better.
Love that answer. David Engel loves the answer as well. Really impressed with Emily, with what she's done in Charlottesville. Awesome job, Emily. You're getting some props from, this is a good question. Let's throw this back out there. This is from Florence Worley Via. Watch your show all the time, Jerry. I'd like to learn more about the Front Porch. Where is the Front Porch? How can I find them online? Good question.
Okay, so you can go to Front Porch CVille, CVille, just like I Love CVille. So frontporchcville.org. That's our website. So that's a great place to go to learn more about the Front Porch. If you go to our About Us section on the website, there's links to a bunch of media. You can read articles about us and see some media coverage, which might be helpful to you.
Okay. How about if you had, let's throw this question, if you had a bottomless grant where you can do anything that you wanted and create any program you wanted to help the community, what would you do with a bottomless grant? It's a tough question.
It is, and
especially since you're just being put on the spot with this.
Well, and also because I'm going on record, so to speak, and the reality is, if I were given a bottomless grant, there are a lot of people that I would consult. I am going to answer the question. I'm not going to sidetrack the question. But what I'll say is that my process would be that I would meet with my team to talk about exactly where we think it would make the most sense to invest in our program, and I would meet with my board, my amazing board. I just want to give props to the board. Those dudes rock. And dudettes. And then I would also meet with our community partners, and we have a lot of really excellent community partners we work with who also do incredible service work in the community. To think about, to me, the way to make a big grant better is for a lot of organizations to come together and use it well to enhance a system.
Love that answer.
A systemic problem. That's what I'm really interested in. So I can imagine taking a big grant, and we're beginning to have conversations about this, partnering with the schools, or partnering with the African American Heritage Center, partnering with City of Promise, partnering with the Music Resource Center, partnering with the Charlottesville Municipal Band, to all come around a problem that we see that we can all work together to lift. That's the kind of thing I would be so excited by.
I love that answer. You got a question from our director, Harris Tolbert. Harris Tolbert, what's on your mind here?
Yeah, Emily, my question is for the average community member who just loves music and would want to get involved in the Front Porch, maybe just connect with other people that are also love music in this community. What's the easiest way to do that? Is it through start coming out to jams, or? Yeah,
or if you wanted to, so there's a bunch of ways. One of them is to just start come to a jam, just see what it's about. Another one is to get some friends together, or reach out to us and say, hey, I would love to, let's say that you're interested in jazz. Let's say that's what your dream is or something. I'd love to work on my chops, and I don't really know other people who are playing at my sort of intermediate level. I don't feel confident enough to come to a jam where there's a lot of people playing slick licks, and I don't need to take a beginner class. You could email us and say, I'd love to do an intermediate class where I'm either, maybe you want to play with other people who play guitar, you want to learn about jazz guitar, or maybe you'd like to learn how to play in an ensemble. So you just email us, and then we'll put a class together. Maybe you and your best friend come and do it, and then we find 3 other community members who are interested in doing that. And then maybe together, collectively, that group would decide, okay, we're going to go to the Front Porch Jams once a month and try out our things that we've been practicing. That is a path that I've seen taken a bunch of times. Other ways are you can just sign up to volunteer. We have volunteers who help us, take tickets and sell concessions and we have a lot of events at the Front Porch, many. And we are always looking for volunteers, and typically our volunteers are people who keep coming back and eventually start really feeling like part of the community. So that's another way.
I love it. You're getting props from Francis. Is it Francis Dean?
Yes.
Great vision.
He's the best.
I love it, guys. This has been one of the easiest shows we've done. You filled an hour. It's felt like 10 minutes. I think that's a testament to you.
And you.
You rock. Love the Front Porch. Why don't we close with
a song?
Are you going to sing?
No, I'm just joking.
We could totally close that way if you want.
I have done that before. I'm always like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. No, I was joking.
Are you sure?
It was a joke.
Okay.
Totally a joke.
Because we've done that. You know what?
And now I will sing for you.
We should. I'll throw this out there, and two things I want to throw to you. First thing would be like, if you guys ever wanted, I love the vision. I love what you guys are all about. If you guys ever wanted, we do live music on the show on Fridays.
Oh,
if
cool.
you ever wanted to throw like a band that's from the Front Porch that wants some exposure, that you're like, this band is ready for some exposure. I trust them. The show's yours.
Great.
Anytime you want.
You should let me bring sometime, when school is in, I'll bring my hometown choir, which is kids from all over the city.
Cool.
Who they're like probably 75 kids at this point who I work with, and it's growing, who all learn the same like super rockin' songs.
I would love to do that.
They have the best time.
I would be remiss not to bring this up. There's a number of people on the stream, like Francis and Nick and Whitney, that are saying, sing, Emily, sing.
No, I'm not singing.
I mean, can I twist your arm? Can I peer pressure you to sing?
I'll come back with my banjo another time.
Okay.
For real.
You sure? I mean, I just got another request for you to sing in there.
No, I was super joking.
This is from Amy. Amy says, Emily, sing. No. So obviously you have a really good voice.
I do sing, but not today. For real, y'all. For real. It would be too much.
Okay.
Real.
We do that. I tried, guys. I tried.
Yes, thank you for asking.
We will invite her again.
We'll come back.
Final word for you here. If you connect with that camera, for all the folks that are watching, contributing, supporting, volunteering, getting part of, spreading the word, anything that they can do to contribute to the Front Porch mission and vision. How do they do it? What should they do?
Well, the simplest way is to just email us and maybe think about signing up for a class or take a lesson. Come to jams, come to the African Drum Circle on Saturday morning and see what that all feels like. You can email us to sign up to be on our volunteer list. You can come to concerts. Just buy a ticket. We have amazing concerts. And this summer, every Thursday night, we're going to have happy hours in our little new secret garden, which will be really fun. You should come. And then also, I would be remiss if I didn't say that we are here, really, there is so much credit that I have to give to everyone who's donated to the Front Porch because we could not exist without it. Half of our operating revenue is earned, but half of it is donated. And every year that we find more success increases the pressure on us also to raise more money in order to keep raising the bar of our success and so that I can do things just as Jerry was talking about earlier, like pay my staff and make sure they have, I'm super proud of the fact that my staff has health insurance and that we're growing and we actually need more staff. One of the ways that we're able to do that is through the generosity of the community. So if you feel moved by anything you've heard today and you would like to donate, there's a link to donate on our website, and we would be so, so grateful for for any generosity that you can offer us.
Oh, you're so good.
You're so good.
No, like literally, this is so easy. We're getting requests for putting the URL in the stream, guys.
Great.
FrontPorchCVille.org, FrontPorchCVille.org. We're getting requests of where they can watch the interview in totality. We will archive the entire show on ilovecville.com, start to finish. We will syndicate the show for 30 to 45 days after the show because she just crushed it. She was amazing. James Watson says, community changing guest, host, and show. Emily, you were amazing.
Thank you, James.
I totally agree with that, James. She is amazing. Amy Williams, thank you for joining us on the show. You rock. This was so easy. I'm so glad we did this. I want to give some props to Ava.
Yeah, Eva.
God, I'm sorry.
It's
Eva,
all right.
She's still watching. I miss you. Eva, I'm sorry. Eva, I'm so sorry. Judah's like, gosh, he always messes his. I know. I'm so sorry, Eva. From Little Planets, you are awesome from Little Planets. My son is going there and just loves it.
Oh, good.
Front Porch, guys, support them. We close the show the same way every single time. We encourage everybody that's watching the program to please embody the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated yourself. I'll say it again. If you can treat others how you want to be treated yourself, it will have such a positive viral impact across the community. Charlottesville and Central Virginia needs it more than ever. The country needs it more than ever. And I'm going to leave it at that. Treat others how you want to be treated yourself, the golden rule, and make our home a better place to live. For Harris Tolber, for Judah Wickhauer, Jerry Miller, Lauren Linsky, the team upstairs, it's the I Love CVille Show. We are back tomorrow at 12:30 with, Chrissy Benninger is going to join us from the Bluegrass Grill to showcase her story and her entrepreneurial journey as how she's built, I'm going to say, a brunch and lunch like institution in Charlottesville. The Bluegrass Grill, I mean, when do you ever go there and there's not a line out the door? So Chrissy's going to come on the show to talk about her journey, trials, tribulations, successes, struggles, all the good stuff that we like to spotlight here on the I Love CVille Show, which is the best of Charlottesville, Virginia. Enjoy your afternoon, guys. Oh, so good. You're so good. You're so easy to speak with. So pleasant.
Likewise.
Seriously. I'm truly grateful. I know your time is like your most